Hi, Brad. Thanks so much for joining us at Cliftons today.
You're welcome.
I love it when you come in and start some of our events and conferences and talk to the people here. I think one of the really nice things about doing something like a welcome to country or a blessing is that it really brings everyone into the room and helps us think about our past as well as the present.
Yeah, I think it's so important, Vanessa. I mean, unfortunately, welcome to countries have sort of taken on that tone of being a formality, and it's so much more than a formality. It's a ceremony,
Yes.
and it's
Yeah.
really, really important because what it does is it drops people into a space, particularly at a conference or an event, where judgment is taken over by listening, where we are connected, and where it really allows ideas to flourish.
Yeah.
And that's the purpose of a conference. So doing a welcome the right way, and I emphasize the right way at a conference or a gathering, I think is vitally important, primarily for those reasons.
Yeah, look, that's right. I mean, we do a lot of things online these days, and when we're bringing people actually together, getting them in a room, it's really important to have everyone stop and think for a moment and have open minds.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
and not only that, but honor the past so we can step into the future. And I think that's the other vitally important part of ceremony. And whether it's a welcome to country ceremony, a ceremony in a church, whatever that ceremony is, it is that honoring of the past so we can step with hope into the future. And when we talk about conferences, and particularly the ideas that germinate out of conferences, that's what it's all about. It's about hope for the future.
Yeah, exactly. And, Brad, one of the things I find really amazing about you is your incredible background in technology, in AI, and all of the things that you have done across your career. And looking at the future and those exciting things that are coming with AI, and then also dwelling on ancestry and the past, and you bring those together in a really amazing way. Can you tell us a little bit about how you think the deep ancestral past is actually going to help us grow the future?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I mean, AI is truly, truly exciting, but we need to understand that it's just a simulation of of intelligence. It's not intelligence. And it's really interesting. Apple just came out with a research study that they did with Stanford this week that actually proved that large language models aren't actually intelligent. They're just good at mimicry.
Yes.
Yeah? And so we need to understand that, particularly when it comes to AI. And what's going to be really important as we move headlong into this age of smart intelligence is understanding that AI only does a small number of things, but it does it really, really well. And our human intelligence is so much more than those four things. And if we look at ancestral intelligence as an example, and look, 5 years ago, if I'd have said ancestral intelligence at a corporate conference, some people probably would have gone, well, you know what, that's just a little bit woo-woo. But today it's sort of becoming more and more accepted. And if we look at what makes up that ancestral intelligence, there's predominantly four key traits. It's pattern recognition, that is based on deep experience. Our brain subconsciously takes in so much information every day, and that information recognizes patterns, which is really, really important. And that's something AI can't do. AI can sift through huge amounts of data really well and identify patterns that way, but it can't do it based on experience. So that's really important. That's our original neural network. The second thing is we have a deep emotional intelligence that's encoded into our DNA that's been passed down through millennia. And that's something that I would argue AI will never, ever have. And I think that's really important to keep track of as well. The third is one thing human beings can do that AI, once again, arguably will never be able to do, is that deep ethical discernment. And that's so important because we're always going to need to govern the machines because it just doesn't have that capacity or capability, and I'd argue we'll never be able to. So those three things, that's what makes us intelligent, and tying that back to a deep, I guess, understanding of human beings, which our ancestors knew about. We have 5 really complex knowledge systems built within our bodies. We don't just have one brain, we have 5 in Indigenous cultures. And tapping into those, and I believe a welcome to country is the first step of tapping into those 5 knowledge systems where we get out of our head, we drop into our heart, we feel things in our gut, right down to then connecting to the earth. And I think that's why welcome to countries are so much more than just a formality at the beginning of a conference, and becoming more important as we step into this world of AI.
Brad, we've talked before about the importance of taking people out of their comfort zone and really connecting with country, really feeling grounded, and how that can affect leadership in a really positive way and bring about significant change in people. Can you tell me a little bit about how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got a number of clients who have taken on developing that ancestral intuition amongst their leaders. And we start off with 3 fundamental Indigenous philosophies. So connect, listen, and then learn. So the connection part is all about reconnecting with our anchor. If you look at the one thing that connects all of us, it's our Earth Mother, or what we call our Earth Mother in Indigenous culture. But these days, we tend to walk around with pieces of rubber between ourselves and our Earth Mother, and so we don't have connection. And quite often, we think that connection begins with our heads and our hearts, but it actually begins with the soles of our feet on the earth. And when leaders can actually build that foundation from the soles of their feet up, that connection has a different resonance to it. It has a different feel and vibe to it. So that's the first part of it. The second part is listening. And once again, we think listening happens between our ears with the grey matter that sits in our skull. But listening from an Indigenous perspective is a whole body experience. It involves all 5 of our deep ingrained knowledge systems: our head, our heart, our stomach, our groin, and our feet, and the way that they're connecting. And so when we can start learning to listen from a whole body experience as opposed to just what's between our ears, it helps us read a room better. It helps us hold a diversity of ideas in the palm of our hand and intuitively chart a course by connecting dots between those ideas, which in my opinion is the mission critical imperative for leaders today, particularly in this fast changing world. And when we can start mastering those 2 skills, then we can learn. And I believe that the skill today that leaders need to learn is to learn, unlearn, and relearn at the speed of technological change. And so when we get leaders out on country, we can start that process of reconnecting those leaders back to, first and foremost, themselves, but those other intelligent systems within their body that, in today's world where we place way too much emphasis on this thing between our ears, to those other really important knowledge systems that sit within our body.
That's really amazing, and it resonates in many ways, including, thinking about children. When we're children, we don't want to put shoes on. We like to feel the ground under our feet. And that really is, I think, maybe an example of we start off with some early intuition and we block it out.
Absolutely. And in Aboriginal culture, we actually raise our children from the soles of their feet up. In the West, we raise them from their heads down, if we ever get that far. And I honestly believe that in this world that we're heading into, where it's becoming indiscernible between what's real and what's fake, having that connection and really having that intuitive sense of discernment is a vital skill that every child, every adult, every human being needs to become reacquainted with.
Absolutely.